In Unit 2, we will be looking at basically the principles of Bible translation, reading the first 5 chapters of Barnwell's textbook. And a basic definition that you will really need to memorize and just know is, what is translation? It is retelling the meaning as exactly as possible from the original message in a way that is clear and natural in the receptor language. Translation is a highly complex activity. It's not just a matter of translating words into your text. And there are different styles of translation as well, which Barnwell focuses on in chapter 2. So you will be looking at the more literal style of translation, which follows the form and the words closely of the original message. And then you get a more meaningful, a meaning-based translation, which follows the meaning, trying to re-express the meaning in a natural way in the language's own natural order of words and connecting words and so on. So you will find these two major approaches, and when you will look at some of the English versions of the Bible, you will find that there are still many that have a literal approach, looking more closely at the form of the original message and how it was written, and then those that are more meaningful. And the more modern approaches are definitely favored these days, a meaningful translation. And we definitely ascribe to that. And there's another added element of the meaningful translations, which are focusing more on the literary elements of the Bible as well. Don't just communicate the meaning of the original message, but the richness of the language used. Was it poetic? Was the author using idioms? Try to re-express that in a literary way, following the style of the author, but also trying to retain the impact that the original author had. I want to tell you a very quick story about a translation that people tried to produce. The first draft was in John chapter 1 verse 1, and they chose their words as carefully as they could. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The word that they chose for the word in their language was a word that is used in some contexts to mean word, but unfortunately in other contexts it could also mean problem or matter. So the translation, when it was read by the reviewers, they understood it to mean in the beginning was the problem, and the problem was with God. The problem was God. Well, no doubt that was not a good translation, because it conveyed a wrong meaning and a very incorrect meaning. So those translations would have to be adjusted. And in fact, in our Sena translation, which I worked on for many years, we translated that passage, in the beginning was someone called words. Because in the Sena language, there is no word for word, a singular word. It really means voice. And when you put it in plural, it means voices or words. So translation is very complex. It's important how you would say this in your own language. What do people understand? That's more important than trying to repeat exactly what the original translation said or the original message said. So please bear in mind meaningfulness and clarity in your translation. So those are the 3 good qualities that Barnwell finishes off these chapters, these first 5 chapters. What are the qualities of a good translation? It has to be clear, it has to be accurate, as close as possible to the original message in meaning, and it has to be natural in the way that the people would speak that particular language. So enjoy the chapters and all the exercises you have to work through and the discussion forum. Thank you.